You're at dinner with friends telling a story and she cuts you off. That's not how it happened. She rolls her eyes, laughs, and corrects you in front of everyone. The table goes quiet. You feel your face burn. Everyone's watching. She just made you look like an idiot and she's smiling about it. This isn't an accident. This isn't a mistake. This is a deliberate act of public humiliation. And if you don't understand why it happens and how to stop it, it will happen again and again until there's nothing left of your dignity. Let me tell you what's really happening when someone humiliates you in public. It's not about the story you got wrong or the mistake you made. It's about power, control, and the systematic destruction of your self-worth. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you'll never let it happen again. The exploitation of perceived weakness starts the moment someone senses you won't fight back. It's like blood in the water to a shark. The first time you laugh off disrespect, accept public correction without pushback, or let someone mock you without consequence, you've just announced to everyone present that you're safe to attack. You've painted a target on your back that says, "I won't defend myself." I had a client whose girlfriend would constantly joke about his income at parties. "Oh, he can't afford that. I'm the breadwinner." Everyone would laugh uncomfortably while he died inside. You know what changed? The night he calmly said, "Actually, that's private information, and I'd appreciate if you didn't share our finances with others." The joke stopped immediately, not because she suddenly respected him, but because he finally showed he had boundaries. The power and control dynamics in public humiliation are calculated. When someone embarrasses you in front of others, they're not just hurting you, they're establishing dominance for an audience. They're showing everyone present that they rank above you, that they can treat you however they want, that you're beneath them in the social hierarchy. It's a performance, and you're the prop. This happens in relationships when one person feels insecure about their position. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe people compliment you more. Maybe you're becoming more confident. The public humiliation is their way of pushing you back down, of reminding you and everyone else who's really in charge. It's emotional terrorism disguised as casual conversation. The envy and insecurity motivation is massive. People who humiliate others publicly are almost always dealing with deep inadequacy. Think about it. Secure people don't need to tear others down for entertainment. They don't get pleasure from watching someone squirm. Only those who feel small inside need to make others feel smaller. A friend of mine dated a woman who would mock his hobbies at every social gathering. He spends all weekend playing with his little toy cars, she'd say about his classic car restoration. Later he realised she was jealous. He had passion, skill, something that brought him joy independent of her. She had nothing like that, so she tried to destroy what he had. The absence of personal boundaries is the permission slip for humiliation. Every time you accept disrespect, you're training people how to treat you. Every time you laugh along when you're the punchline, you're saying it's okay. Every time you let someone cross a line without consequence, you're moving the line further back. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Those who humiliate others are testing. They're pushing to see how much you'll take. It starts small, a little joke at your expense. If you accept it, next time it's bigger, then bigger, until you're the designated punching bag in every social situation, and everyone thinks it's just how things are. The role of the audience cannot be understated. Public humiliation only works with witnesses. It's not enough to hurt you. Others need to see you hurt. The audience amplifies the damage, their laughter, their silence, their discomfort. It all adds to your shame. The humiliator feeds off this collective energy. They're not just dominating you, they're performing dominance for social credit. I've watched this dynamic in couples for years. One partner will say something cutting, then immediately look around to gauge reactions. They're not watching their partner, they're watching the audience. Did people laugh? Did they get the social approval they wanted? The actual relationship is secondary to the performance. The lack of self-worth vulnerability is what makes some people perfect targets. If you don't know your own value, others will assign it for you, and it will always be less than you deserve. People who don't recognize their own dignity become punching bags for those who need someone beneath them to feel adequate. This is why the same person can be respected in one environment and humiliated in another. It's not about who you are, it's about who you believe you are. When you know your worth, attempts at humiliation bounce off. When you don't, every barb finds its mark. The response determines outcome, always. How you react in the first 3 seconds after public humiliation determines whether it continues or stops. Laugh along, it continues. Get angry and emotional, you've given them exactly what they wanted. But respond with calm, firm, boundary setting. The game ends. I'll give you a perfect example. A client's wife would criticize his parenting in front of their friends. He has no idea what he's doing with the kids. One day, he simply said, "We can discuss parenting approaches privately later. Right now, let's enjoy dinner with our friends." Calm, firm, dignified. She never did it again because the game stopped being fun. The stoicism and self-mastery approach is your shield. True power isn't controlling others, it's controlling yourself. When someone tries to humiliate you publicly, they're trying to trigger an emotional reaction. Your anger, your shame, your frustration, that's their fuel. But when you respond with calm strength, you starve the fire. This doesn't mean being passive, it means being strategic. It means choosing your response rather than reacting from emotion. It means understanding that the person trying to humiliate you is revealing their weakness, not yours. They need an audience to feel powerful, you don't. The humiliation as reflection principle is crucial to understand. When someone needs to tear you down publicly, they're showing everyone their own insecurity. Secure people elevate others. Insecure people diminish them. The act of public humiliation says nothing about you and everything about them. Think about the most confident, successful people you know. Do they mock others at parties? Do they need to make people feel small? Number. They're too busy building their own lives to waste time destroying others. Only those who feel powerless need to steal power through humiliation. The testing phase pattern is predictable. First, they'll make a small joke at your expense and watch your reaction. If you allow it, next comes a bigger dig, then public correction, then open mockery, then contempt. Each step is a test to see if you'll finally stand up for yourself. Most people never do, and the humiliation escalates until the relationship is nothing but degradation. I've seen marriages where the husband has become so beaten down that his wife openly mocks him to his face in front of their children. Daddy's an idiot, isn't he? And he just takes it because he's been trained over years that resistance makes it worse. But here's the thing, it can't get worse than zero dignity. The social dynamics of group humiliation are fascinating. When one person successfully humiliates another publicly, it changes the entire group dynamic. Others start seeing the victim as lower status. They begin treating them with less respect. The humiliation becomes a social reassignment of value that affects all future interactions. This is why stopping it immediately is crucial. Once you're established as the group punching bag, it's incredibly hard to change that perception. Everyone becomes comfortable with you being in that role. They expect it. They participate in it. Breaking free requires massive boundary assertion that most people aren't prepared for. The gender dynamics add another layer. When a woman humiliates a man publicly, there's often social support for it. You go, girl! Put him in his place! Men need to be taken down a peg. But imagine a man publicly humiliating a woman the same way. Different story entirely. This double standard enables female-to-male public humiliation. The emotional manipulation component is sophisticated. Often, the humiliation is followed by gaslighting. "I was just joking. You're too sensitive. Can't you take a joke?" This makes you question whether you have the right to be upset. You do. Public humiliation is not joking. It's aggression disguised as humour. The deeper psychological mechanism at work here involves what I call status anxiety. When someone feels their position in a relationship or social group is threatened, public humiliation becomes a tool to re-establish perceived superiority. It's particularly common when life circumstances change. You get a raise, lose weight, gain confidence, develop new friendships. Suddenly, the person who was comfortable with the old dynamic feels threatened by the new one. I watched this play out with a couple, where the husband went back to school for his MBA. As he grew intellectually and professionally, his wife's public digs increased proportionally. She'd interrupt his discussions about business concepts with, "He just learned that last week, he doesn't really understand it yet." She'd tell people he was trying to be something he's not. The more he succeeded, the more vicious the public attacks became. The neurological impact of repeated public humiliation actually changes your brain. Your amygdala, the fear center, becomes hyperactive in social situations. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking and confidence, literally shrinks from chronic stress. You develop a trauma response to social gatherings. Your body floods with cortisol at the mere thought of group events. The workplace parallel is important to understand. If a colleague publicly undermined you in meetings the way some partners do in social settings, it would be recognised as workplace bullying and potentially illegal harassment. But somehow, when it happens in personal relationships, we're supposed to accept it as normal couple dynamics. It's not normal, it's abuse with an audience. The cultural conditioning that enables this is profound. We've been taught through sitcoms, movies, and social media that mocking men publicly is not just acceptable, but funny. The bumbling husband, the incompetent boyfriend, the clueless male. These archetypes have normalized public male humiliation as entertainment. Some people literally think they're being funny when they're being cruel. The relationship destruction pattern follows a predictable path. Public humiliation leads to private resentment. Private resentment leads to emotional withdrawal. Emotional withdrawal leads to relationship decay. By the time most men realize what's happening, the damage is catastrophic. The love is gone, replaced by a combination of fear, anger, and learned helplessness. I counseled a couple where the wife would constantly embarrass her husband at social events, share his failures, mock his interests, correct him publicly. He finally asked why she did it. Her answer: "I don't know, it just happens." But it doesn't just happen. It's a choice, every single time. The decision to humiliate rather than support is conscious, even if the motivation isn't. The childhood programming aspect runs deep. Many people who humiliate others publicly learned this behavior in their family of origin. They watched one parent diminish the other. They experienced love expressed through mockery. They internalized that intimacy includes the right to humiliate. Breaking this pattern requires recognizing it as dysfunction, not affection. The attachment style connection is significant. People with anxious attachment often use public humiliation as a twisted form of bonding. By creating a shared experience of someone's embarrassment, they feel connected to the audience. It's a maladaptive strategy for feeling included and important. The partner's dignity becomes currency for social connection. The recovery process starts with recognition. You have to see the pattern, understand it's not acceptable, and decide it stops now. Not next time, not gradually, now. This isn't about becoming aggressive or controlling. It's about having basic self-respect and requiring others to show it too. The boundary setting technique is simple, but not easy. When someone humiliates you publicly, address it immediately and calmly. "That's inappropriate, and I'd appreciate if you didn't speak to me that way in front of others." No anger, no emotion, just clear communication. If they continue, you remove yourself from the situation. The respect test is revealing. Someone who respects you will be mortified if they realize they've humiliated you. They'll apologize genuinely and change their behavior. Someone who doesn't respect you will get angry that you're not accepting their disrespect anymore. This tells you everything about whether the relationship is salvageable. The psychological impact of sustained public humiliation is devastating. It rewires your brain to expect attack. You become hypervigilant in social situations. You preemptively self-deprecate to beat others to the punch. You shrink yourself to avoid being a target. This is no way to live. The identity reconstruction necessary after prolonged humiliation is like rebuilding after a natural disaster. Your sense of self has been systematically demolished. You have to rebuild from the foundation up. Your values, your worth, your right to respect. This isn't just healing. It's resurrection of the person you were before the humiliation began. The social recalibration is necessary. You might lose some relationships when you stop accepting humiliation. People who enjoyed watching you be diminished won't like the new boundaries. That's fine. Those aren't people you need in your life. Quality people will respect your standards. The attraction paradox is real. Often, the person humiliating you will become more attracted when you stop allowing it. This isn't healthy attraction. It's attraction to the challenge. Don't mistake this renewed interest for respect. Someone who needed to humiliate you to feel powerful will do it again when they feel secure. The internal work is where real change happens. You have to address why you accepted humiliation in the first place. What did you believe about yourself that made it seem acceptable? What story were you telling yourself about deserving respect? This isn't about blame. It's about understanding patterns to break them. The societal implications are significant. When we tolerate public humiliation in relationships, we're teaching the next generation that this is how love looks. Children watching their father being mocked by their mother learn that men don't deserve respect. Children seeing their mother tear down their father learn that women express love through cruelty. The cycle continues until someone breaks it. The masculine dignity aspect is crucial. Society tells men they should be able to take a joke, that being sensitive to humiliation is weakness. This is backwards. Requiring respect isn't weakness, it's strength. Accepting humiliation isn't strength, it's learned helplessness. The practical intervention starts with small moments. Next time someone makes a joke at your expense, don't laugh. Just look at them calmly and say, "That's not funny to me." Watch how quickly the dynamic shifts. You don't need to make a scene, you just need to stop participating in your own humiliation. The relationship assessment is necessary. If public humiliation is happening in your relationship, you need to evaluate whether it's salvageable. Can this person learn to respect you? Or is disrespect so fundamental to how they relate to you that change is impossible? Not all relationships are worth saving. The neural pathway rewiring takes consistent effort. Your brain has developed superhighways for expecting and accepting humiliation. Creating new pathways for expecting and requiring respect takes time and repetition. Every time you enforce a boundary, you're building new neural infrastructure for dignity. The dignity restoration process takes time. You've potentially spent years accepting humiliation. Your nervous system is programmed to expect it. Your social circle is used to it. Changing this requires consistent, patient boundary enforcement. Every time you stand up for yourself, you're rewriting the program. The support system matters. Surround yourself with people who treat you with respect. Find friends who build you up rather than tear you down. Create relationships where dignity is the baseline, not something you have to fight for. This becomes your new normal, your new standard. The intergenerational trauma aspect is real. Men who accept public humiliation often had fathers who accepted it. The pattern passes down through generations until someone decides it stops with them. You can be the one who breaks the chain, who shows your children that requiring respect is normal and necessary. The future prevention strategy is about early detection. In new relationships, watch for early signs of public disrespect. The funny story that makes you look bad, the correction in front of friends, the joke that cuts too deep. Address it immediately or walk away. Don't wait for it to escalate. The confidence building is essential. People who radiate self-respect rarely get targeted for public humiliation. It's not about arrogance. It's about carrying yourself like someone who knows their worth. This is an energy people can sense, and it acts as a natural deterrent to would-be humiliators. The social intelligence component involves reading rooms and relationships. Who supports the humiliation? Who looks uncomfortable? Who might be an ally? Understanding these dynamics helps you navigate social situations strategically, rather than just enduring them. The biochemical aspect is important to understand. When you're publicly humiliated, your body releases a cocktail of stress hormones: cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. Over time, this chronic stress literally damages your body. High blood pressure, weakened immune system, digestive problems, sleep disruption. Public humiliation isn't just emotionally damaging, it's physically destructive. The exit strategy should always exist. If someone repeatedly humiliates you publicly despite your boundaries, you need to be prepared to leave, not as a threat, but as a promise to yourself. Your dignity is non-negotiable. Any relationship that requires you to sacrifice it isn't worth maintaining. The self-respect revolution starts with a decision. You decide that you matter. You decide that your dignity has value. You decide that anyone who can't treat you with basic respect doesn't get access to your life. This isn't about becoming difficult or demanding. It's about having standards. The transformation I've seen in people who stop accepting public humiliation is remarkable. They stand taller. They speak clearer. They attract better relationships. They advance in careers. It's like they finally gave themselves permission to take up space in their own lives. The deeper understanding is this: people who humiliate others publicly are broken. They're operating from such a place of insecurity that they need to diminish others to feel adequate. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps you see it for what it is. Their problem, not yours. The relational truth is that healthy people don't humiliate their partners. They don't need to. They build each other up, protect each other's dignity, and handle conflicts privately with respect. If you're not experiencing this, you're in the wrong relationship. The cognitive dissonance resolution is crucial. Many people simultaneously know they deserve respect and accept disrespect. This mental split creates tremendous psychological stress. Resolving it requires choosing one truth. Either you deserve respect and will require it, or you don't and you'll accept whatever treatment comes. Most people have never consciously made this choice. The societal shift needed is recognition that public humiliation is abuse. It's not funny, it's not normal, it's not acceptable. We need to stop laughing at people being torn down and start calling out those who do the tearing. But this shift starts individually, with people like you refusing to accept it. The male perspective particularly needs validation here. Men are told to tough it out, take it on the chin, don't be sensitive. But public humiliation is emotional abuse regardless of gender. Men deserve dignity and respect just as much as anyone else. Requiring it isn't weakness, it's healthy. The relationship dynamics that create humiliation patterns are predictable. Usually one person feels inadequate and uses humiliation to level the playing field. Instead of rising to their partner's level, they drag their partner down to theirs. It's easier to destroy than to build. The intervention moment is crucial. The second public humiliation starts, you have a choice. Accept it and train everyone present that this is acceptable, or stop it and establish that it's not. This moment determines not just that interaction, but all future interactions. The personal sovereignty aspect is fundamental. You are the only one who gets to decide your worth, not someone with a microphone at a party, not someone who needs to mock you to feel powerful. You decide your value, and then you require others to recognize it or remove themselves from your life. The practical script for stopping humiliation. I understand you might think that's funny, but I don't appreciate being spoken to that way in front of others. Let's move on. Calm, clear, firm. No negotiation, no justification, just boundary setting. If they persist, I've asked you to stop. This conversation is over. The dignity preservation in relationships requires both partners to protect each other's honor publicly and address issues privately. If something needs correcting, do it later, alone, with respect. Public forums are for support, not criticism. This is basic relationship respect. The recovery timeline varies for everyone. Some people can shift immediately once they understand the dynamic. Others need months or years to rebuild their sense of deserving respect. Be patient with yourself, but persistent in your standards. Every step toward dignity is a victory. The energy shift when you stop accepting humiliation is palpable. People sense it immediately. Those who benefited from your lack of boundaries will test the new limits, hold firm. Those who respect the change are your real allies. The sorting happens naturally. The deeper healing involves forgiving yourself for accepting humiliation. You didn't know better, or you didn't have the tools, or you were in survival mode. Whatever the reason, you did your best with what you had. Now you know better, so you can do better. The final truth is this. Public humiliation is about the humiliator's weakness, not your worth. Secure people don't need to diminish others. Confident people don't require an audience for validation. Happy people don't get pleasure from others' pain. Remember this next time someone tries to make you small. The transformation waiting on the other side of boundaries is incredible. Relationships based on mutual respect. Social interactions free from anxiety. The ability to be yourself without armor. This is what's possible when you stop accepting public humiliation. The call to action is simple but profound. Decide today that your dignity is non-negotiable. Decide that anyone who can't treat you with basic respect in public doesn't deserve access to your private life. Decide that you matter enough to require decent treatment. The message to those who humiliate others: your behavior reveals your insecurity, not their inadequacy. Every time you tear someone down publicly, you announce to the world that you're so small inside you need to stand on others to feel tall. It's transparent and it's pathetic. I want to hear from you guys. Have you experienced public humiliation in relationships? How did you handle it? What changed when you set boundaries? Drop your stories in the comments. Let's normalize men requiring respect and dignity. Let's make it clear that public humiliation is never acceptable, regardless of who's doing it or who's receiving it. Your dignity matters, and it's time we all started acting like it.